Hi, it's Brad here again. I support Donald Trump. I support Maxime Bernier. I support John Tory. I support Premier Doug Ford. I support all these guys, right? I support all the conservative candidates, right? Who had more than enough uh, liberal bullshit to last. Like, that's a good baby boomer thing, and that worked for them, but, now we're kind of revolting against mom and dad who, in turn revolted against their conservative parents. But like we've had more than enough of that. May the liberals never come back. I want something else instead. But whatever. Like we've had more than enough. Like 5 more years of Joe Biden is 5 more years of Big Brother. If you've ever watched that movie Snowden, you'll find out, discover that there was more Big Brother spyware, more of that crap. Uh, Big government watching the individual human than ever in history. Like, hey man, I'm a super character. I'm a celebrity, right? I don't mind. Like, I've gotten used to it, right? It's like it's kind of what I want. I didn't know it'd be. I didn't have my plan on doing my own reality show, but I guess it's already in the process as we speak. It's already happening. But for your average Joe, right? He has a right to a certain amount of privacy, right? To maintain a certain amount of that. But with under Barack Obama, there was so much of that, right? Talk about that, like that's utter crap, right? And what do they do? They always talk about Donald Trump trying to identify the whistleblower. What did they do when they identified Snowden? When Barack Obama identified Snowden for blowing the whistle, they chased him out the country, right? He has to live in Russia under, being shielded by Mother Russia's wing under old Poots, right? So this is other kind. The liberals are so hypocritical, right? I don't so like I've had enough of them. Like, I think breaking QP is the first step to breaking the teachers union. So one thing will lead to another. Because what happens every 2 years? They say they use the children as pawns and whatnot. They go on strike every 2 years, and the children of York University suffer. So you're just using you're like a divorce, a widow, a divorcee in a messy divorce. You're just using the children as pawns. So all this horse shit that the liberals have brought in, we're kicking it to the curb and throwing it out the window, man. Like what Donald Trump has had to do, they said it wouldn't be fucking easy, and it won't be, man. But if we want real change here in Canada, I'd say Maxime Bernier. They're saying, oh no. They try and paint him out. It's like fuck. He's the rightful ruler of that. I'm supporting, man. I support him, right? And I'm not another thing. I'm throwing this idea out there. It's quite possible that Ontario still maintain its British, its ties to Britain. It's a British Commonwealth, but quite possibly leaving Canada. I think we'd be better off to possibly join America, get our manufacturing back. A united and maybe, who knows? Maybe Montreal, Quebec will leave, and so will BC. Saskatchewan is talking about leaving too and becoming part of North Dakota or something like that, right? This is a united. I think a united, in the long run, a united North America will be much better. Actually, a united North America, united with Great Britain and her Commonwealths, would give us on one currency, would actually give us enough economic strength throughout that whole kind of, we'll call it the federation, right? That, and it has a universal healthcare program built in that, because we're all paying into it, like all across this federation, right? This trade federation. As long as they abide by the same human rights practices, right? Might actually work, and it would give us something to compete against the Chinas and stuff like that, and all these other things, right? So that might be a way to get the West back on track. But I think it's got to be a conservative blue movement, because liberals will sell us out to foreign whatchamacallit, I don't know, foreign nations and stuff like that. There's a lot of leftists they had some good ideas, but they got they got their pockets lined by Saudi Arabia and Iran and shit like that, right? Like, don't tell me they haven't, because they certainly have. It's time for some real change. And honest to God, I think if we, my federation idea is one idea, right? But I don't know, something's got to bust, something's got to give. Excuse me. It's time for a change. I'm not opposed to that. And we could get all in one currency. Features digital. They talked about the International Monetary Fund form of currency. They also have thrown around this kind of the idea of Bitcoin or whatever the hell that is. But it's definitely like I said, the baby boomers were great. They left some great shoes, big shoes to fill and stuff like that. But it's our turn now, and I think a lot of people are starting to think, well, that wouldn't be such a bad idea either. Ontario would still maintain its Ontario healthcare plan because on a lot of stuff, right? We'd just do that. Like, all of a sudden, Doug Ford becomes the governor of the state of Ontario, right? It's not that bad, man. I think that'd be okay. But the gun violence things, like we could, as our state, we chose to have a no handgun thing, right? It's our state. Like, we can do what we will, right? We can ban it if we choose, right? That's not a bad idea, man. Because I don't know, a united North America is a strong North America, right? And like this federation with, I would propose with Great Britain and its Commonwealth, that might work to, help keep the Western world on track, right? And then anyone who wants to leave, say, the European Union, right? Because like I don't agree with the United Nations. I think they're all a bunch of puppets for radical Islam, to tell you the truth. Like that little Heidenberg chick or whatever, Teutenberg or whatever their name is, she can blow it her ass. Like I admit climate change is happening, but they don't ever point the finger at Saudi Arabia and Iran. Whereas here in North America and the West, we actually use ethical practices on how to get oil out of the ground. But they never. But you'll see her like getting escorted around by Mother Teresa of Islam and stuff like that. But she won't say anything against them, right? But it's time. The time has come for some real change, right? Possibly some new government structures and stuff like that, right? Because if we got North America, a united North America with Great Britain and Commonwealths, that could bring a great economic abundance, and we just trade within the Commonwealth for a while. And anyone who wants to leave that and join us would be fine. One currency, a universal healthcare program, but we'll have to do something because we've awoken the red giant, and it's hard to keep with. And we could also recognize, Hong Kong, because Hong Kong apparently is still under British rule until 2046. These guys are jumping the gun quite a bit there, right? So that's a bit BS, right? So we'll have to start doing something, get some economic strength, because we have to, once again, liberal red, communist red, Nazi red. We'll have to step it up and fight that crap, because I don't like being told what to do. I like to be free. I like to be me. I like to maintain my individuality, and that's the thing that these unions have gotten way too big, driven our manufacturing away. It's like that's the problem, man. Unions. Possibly with a universal health care, these employers would not have to pay into a benefit package, right? So we're all getting the same thing anyways. It would take some tinkering around with, right? It's just new concepts, for a new era of humanity. The guy sounds like he's doing a duck call. But we have to start, coming together, because this is bullshit, right? And these provinces or states or territories or whatever they want, they're still allowed to be responsible for who comes in and who doesn't, right? Their own immigration thing, right? That would make sense to me, because we need skilled workers, right? People with skills. We can't be taking people on for the third world anymore. As I said, we're going from a first world country, I guess you call it, to a second world. We're bridging the gap between the third and the first world, right? So it's like we just can't take all these people in. A, we're going through a housing crisis. B, we have a very fluctuating economy, right? It's going up and down and up and down. But with a united, we could say with maybe possibly a united North America, we could start to rebuild our economic strength in the West, right? And then possibly a united joint thing with the united what's it, United Kingdom, right? That would be another thing to end its Commonwealth. That would be a good place to start, because between America and Great Britain, they have lots of territories and commonwealths all across the world. Even Australia is a commonwealth. So yes, so is India, right? But like that would be the first place to start to rebuild the Western free world, right? We got to start doing that, because if all these like communist countries and all these other little nutbar countries get a little too powerful, stuff like that, like they can, you know, it's like the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl. It would be hell on earth, right? You know, that's like one of the 7 seals of the apocalypse being broken open, right? You know, who knows, man? Maybe this federation could start venturing off into South America. Who knows, man? You never know, right? We'll have to see where the 21st century takes us. But for the most part, to listen to baby boomers and stuff like that, it's like whoever is elected president, it's Donald Trump. I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping that's gonna be the last baby boomer president, right? Because it's time for some fresh ideas and some, you know, open our minds more, right? Because the baby boomers only came so far, and then they turned back. They closed up and turned back, right? And then they started over-regulating things. Like, there's all kinds of regulations, rules and regulations that we don't need. Rules are made to be broken, right? So I think it's time to start, you know, deregulating some stuff and break some rules, and, you know, start like living a little more freer than like again, right? Like I guess this is an old Die Hard movie, right? But, you know, live free and party hard.